Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the third annual GRA TAG Business Launch Competition. It's wonderful to have you here. This is a very worthwhile event. For those who are unfamiliar with it, this supports the development of new high-tech companies across the state. And basically this morning, the way that it works, you'll be meeting representatives from 4 finalist companies, all of them in the internet technology space. They're competing for a pretty big prize, $100,000 in cash from the Georgia Research Alliance and $200,000 in services. Can make a material difference in a company's chances for succeeding. They will also have, I might mention, access to a number of mentors, people who have been there, who have been successful, they've been through the grind, made mistakes, and can probably help these companies avoid mistakes of their own. Each of the companies that you'll hear from this morning develops products or online services, back-end technologies perhaps, that improve the way that we use the web. They will have 20 minutes to do their elevator pitch. It's a tall building, so they've got plenty of time to do it. And then the fun begins. They get grilled for 20 minutes by our panel of experts whose job it is to get in there and find all the weaknesses. And they do a really good job at that, but it's equal abuse for all. We have, after all 4 of them have presented, the judges will retire to a room and debate who the winner is going to be. We'll take that time. Martin Tilson will be up here, managing partner at Burr & Forman, to interview some very prominent local entrepreneurs during that debating period. So let's get started. I'd like to welcome the president of TAG, Tino Mantella. He's been with us in this role for about 4 years and has made TAG into the vital organization that it is, that is at the heart of the state's growing technology industry. Ladies and gentlemen, Tino Mantella.
Good morning, everybody. I have the privilege of introducing our host today at IBM, Ann Kramer, who is IBM's Director of Corporate Citizenship and Corporate Affairs. She's also recently named Atlanta Magazine's Power Woman of the Year. And Ann says it's all about building trust relationships. As one grows and opens a door, another one enters, and they help the next. So it's a pay-it-forward strategy, and I've known Ann for 7 years, and she definitely walks her talk in that regard. She's one of the most influential, but more importantly, relationship builder for not only IBM, but for certainly the community of Atlanta and the state of Georgia. So with that, Ann, come on up and welcome.
As you all know, first, it is such an extraordinary honor to be in this room with innovative thinkers, thought leaders, and folks who are really doing so much to mine the extraordinary intellect of our state and to create new companies, which is what we all look for jobs and quality of life. So thank you for being here. And second, on behalf of IBM, we're thrilled to welcome you to our facility. For many of you, like Mike Cassidy, or former IBMers, it's fun to welcome you back, Mike Green. The and is to know that this place really is available to you at any cost, with no cost, and always available. So, Tino, thank you for asking us to share our space. And then, of course, third is to congratulate GRA and TAG on creating the business launch idea. Because as we, as both in the state and as a country, are really trying to develop these innovative thinkings, especially in internet technologies, what an extraordinary way for us not only to listen to the 4 finalists, and I always love the YouTube entry, as we say. I love Mike calling it the new person on the island who gets there in the non-traditional way. That no matter at what phase or stage or place you are in life, that you have the opportunity to be an innovator and an entrepreneur, to create the kinds of new technologies and new jobs that's going to be only good for all of us. So we're thrilled to welcome you. Know that if there is anything you need, that I am here, Ann Kramer, and that we have folks out there, as you know, if you go right along the window, the restrooms are down the hall, and that if you need anything, please ask. But enjoy your stay, and especially continue to launch these extraordinary innovative technologies for our state, for our children, and thank you for all investing your time and your resources for the
business strategy for Georgia Research Alliance. Mike Cassidy, who's somewhere here, Mike came to my office a little over 3 years ago and said, I have an idea I want to share with you, and maybe it would be an opportunity for TAG and GRA to partner. And it was a business launch, and we worked together. We created this idea, and Sid Elliott's been a prime mover in making sure that we stay the course with respect to the business launch competition. So, Sid.
Thank you, Tino. On behalf of the Georgia Research Alliance, I want to thank you all for coming and hope you have a good day with us here. I do want to tell you a little bit more about the background about the event. GRA is a public-private partnership. It works with the state's 6 research universities in a variety of ways to strengthen Georgia's economy. And about 4 years ago, when I came to GRA, Mike and I were talking about the community, and we recognized that there was still a bit of a hangover from the dot-com bubble burst, and a lot of things in entrepreneurship were simply on the sidelines. Not as many people were trying to start new businesses, and there was very, very little interest by early-stage investors in these businesses. So we said, well, is there something we can do that might provide a spark to this community that would take advantage of some of our natural resources that we have here? And I don't mean as much water and air. I mean the human talent that we have here. Because even though there was a bit of doom and gloom environment, we were optimistic about the future because we knew that in the 90s, Georgia had been a great place for high-tech entrepreneurship. So as we were talking, we said, well, would it be a good idea if we could underwrite a cash prize of $100,000 to encourage people that are thinking about new businesses to propose those? Now, not in the sense of a business plan competition that universities are famous for and are excellent means of teaching entrepreneurship, but in terms of actually helping people that are in the active act of that. So we went over, as Tino said, and talked with him and said, we think this might be a good idea, but we want it to be more than just about the money. We want to connect better with the private community. And TAG clearly is the organization that does this in the state of Georgia, and one of the best ones in the country. So it went from, would it be a good idea, an interesting idea to offer a cash prize, to what else could we do? So Tino, as indicated, was very receptive, and then he and I began to talk to select other individuals. We said, well, what if in addition to the cash prize, we would have a suite of professional services worth $150,000 to $200,000? We said, well, that would be even more interesting. I said, well, okay, what if we had a way by which people that already had an idea but needed some help in refining it, could we connect them? Is this working better? Okay. Could we take these people that have an idea, could we connect them with an experienced high-tech entrepreneur that could offer them some help in refining that idea before it's submitted? And people in the TAG community said, yeah, that's a good idea, and we can do that. So we said, well, what else then could we do? We said, well, what if we took a dozen or so each time, even if they're not maybe going to win, but they're a group that look promising? Could we bring them in front of a panel of judges and let them make an investor presentation and get some candid feedback from those judges? They said, yeah, that's a great idea, and we can do that too. So well, what about other people could we connect them with that are entrepreneurial strengths in Georgia, like ATDC? If you don't know it, ATDC is one of the highest ranked technology incubators in America. It's nationally recognized. And ATDC said, sure, we can do that. So the event has been growing. We're very encouraged. We learn something new every year about it. This is our 3rd year. And every year we think we've kind of learned all until we find out, of course, like life and entrepreneurship, is a lot we don't know. So we thank all those that have entered. We have a number of people, aside from the 4 finalists, there are others that are here. We welcome you. We hope you'll have a good day. We will, as soon as this is over, Tino and I will be talking about what should we do next year and how should we make it better. TAG, Tino, his board, and the TAG community have been great partners in this, and we're very encouraged about the future opportunities. So Tino, thank you and your team for all you've done.
Okay, I'm going to just say a few words, and then we'll get on with the show here. Sid talked about the macro picture as to how we got involved with the program and why we got involved with the program. And it really was about seeing the need for seed money, which is, as most of you know in this room, the most difficult dollars to come by. So I wanted to talk a little more granular in respect to the moving parts, because it is really quite a complex program, and it requires many volunteers and active people to make it happen. And the first thing is the funders, and certainly the state stepping forward and GRA stepping forward, and now contributing $300,000 over the first 3 years. And then in addition to that, we have suite of service providers, and each year our suite of service providers grow. They've donated over $500,000 in the last 3 years in services from more than 50 different companies. And it's from building websites to rental space, from legal and financial expertise to sales flow pipeline, and everything a young company will need to be successful. It also required getting entrepreneurs to apply, and Georgia has no shortage of people with good ideas and talent. So we had over 155 companies apply in the first 3 years. They're talented, they're passionate, many are unrelenting in their quest to take an idea and build a business and change the world for the better. It also required mentors. And so the program isn't just for the winners, but 58 successful entrepreneurs, many of them serial entrepreneurs, agreed to mentor our competitors over this past 3 years. This year alone, we had 31 mentors to mentor 31 companies, which was terrific. Actually, some mentors mentored more than one company. The first round review team, just kind of behind the scenes, so you get these 75 applications coming in, and then you get 45 business launch plans coming in. And lots of kudos goes to ATDC and their team for poring over all those plans and providing feedback where they could to the competitors, which is very important. I want to do a special shout out here for some of the people that spent the time looking over the plans. Lance Weatherby, Alan Graber, Melanie Leaf, Nelson Chu, Sig Mosley, Scott Burkett, and the entire ATDC team for a job well done. Then it takes the board of directors of the Georgia Research Alliance and TAG. We had a task force of volunteers from TAG led by Ashish Ball that met on several occasions to talk about the strategy, the tactics, and how we're going to deliver this year. And of course, Sid Elliott and the GRA staff team, and Kim Wood, who's on the TAG staff, has done a terrific job, and the TAG staff team. Sponsors, the state, GRA, TAG, ATDC, IBM, Sun Microsystems, Angus McRae Insurance, Arceti, Global Speak, and Richard Warner, What's Up Interactive. So many people have gotten involved. Just a quick word on Global Speak, and we added a new element two new elements this year to the program. One, Sun Microsystems sponsored a reception. Many of you attended that reception. It was for the judges, the mentors, and the competitors. And it was a great kickoff to the event where we got to talk a little bit more about what the expectations were and tried to answer questions that the young entrepreneurs had. Second was Fast Forward to Launch, which was a video, kind of the American Idol play for our activity, where we actually had 25 of the companies put together a 1-minute video, and Global Speak provided the video work for that. And we sent it out both on the TAG website, it was on YouTube, and in less than 2 weeks, over 11,000 people viewed there were 11,000 visits to the site. And over 6,000 people voted on the winner, and the two winners were the wild card entries in the semifinal judging. In fact, one of them is in the finals today. So when you put it all together and you look at what the state's done, and you think about other states, so when I first got here on the job, people said, Georgia doesn't really have a systematic way to support their entrepreneurial community, and it's so important to build those small companies for communities that can grow into the large companies. When you think about it, we celebrate when we bring in a company from, somewhere in the world that puts in, a couple hundred jobs to Georgia, which is a great thing. But at the same token, if you think about how many young companies have bootstrapped or been supported financially and then taken their program and grown to well more than 200 employees to support the Georgia and the economy of the United States. So we've had 2 winners so far, but there's many more companies that are winners because they've had support of the mentors, they've had lots of support from the community, and so thank you all for participating. Many of you have, and now I'd like to turn it over to Richard to get on with the show.